Ace Frehley is pissed at Kiss. Like, stick around and keep watching pissed. Ace Frehley, Kiss's disgruntled ex-guitarist, is out here stirring the pot like it's a damn vat of expired mayo at a bipartisan family picnic. The spaceman himself has issued a brutal ultimatum to his former bandmates, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Either apologize for some smart-ass comments made on the Howard Stern show, or say hello to total career annihilation, courtesy of this mysterious 120-page scribe. It's a saga that's more dramatic than a bad reality TV show, but with less fake tans and more plot twists. So you might be wondering, what exactly in the hell got Frehley's panties in such a twist? Well, it all started when Paul Stanley decided to have a little sit-down with Howard Stern. You know, like every other soon-to-be washed-up rocker with time to spare. Paul Stanley casually dropped some thoughts about the band's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, implying that playing with the OG members, Peter Criss and Ace Frehley, would be demeaning to the band. And he even went so far as to suggest they'd sound so bad they should be called Piss instead of Kiss. Now, where did we hear that one before? Now, if there's one thing Frehley isn't, it's someone who's just going to sit back and take that kind of insult without firing back like a rocket, pun intended. So Ace decides to air his grievance on Trunk Nation with Eddie Trunk, tearing into Paul Stanley for his frustration and insecurity, and accusing him of using backing tracks. Now, Ace Frehley, not one to mince words, said that Stanley's reliance on those backing tracks was cheapening the brand, which obviously affects Frehley's bottom line, since he still gets paid from Kiss merch and things like that. The man's got to protect his investment after all. However, Ace wasn't done there. Oh no. He went on to demand a formal apology from Paul Stanley, giving him a deadline of 7 days. That's right. He put a ticking time bomb on this drama. And if Stanley doesn't come through, Frehley is going completely nuclear with some top secret dirt that could ruin both Stanley and Gene. Cue the good old soap opera cliffhanger here. Now, Ace Frehley claims to have this 120-page manuscript, written after his own book, locked away with his attorney. Now, if anything happens to him, it's going straight to the New York Times, Rolling Stone, and other major news outlets. Talk about a failsafe. Ace is playing 4D chess, while the rest of us are just playing checkers. Now, this manuscript, being 120 pages, sounds like a rage posting to end all rage posting. Now, I personally know what a tumultuous split from ex-bands is like, and sometimes those band arguments can still go on in band members' heads long after they've broken up. Not that I'd know that particular thing, but still, Ace could possibly be taking it to a whole other level, or he could have 120 pages of summed up Reddit comment threads that we've read time and time again. You've got to wonder what kind of spicy, diabolical secrets are hiding within that mysterious 120-page manuscript that Ace is threatening to unleash on the world. I mean, this is Kiss we're talking about. The same group that's been synonymous with rock and roll debauchery pretty much since the dawn of time, or at least the 70s. Now, the legendary backstage antics of Kiss are all too well known, really. But if Ace is hiding some kind of real dirt, and if it's as damning as Ace seems to hint at, we're talking some seriously heinous shit that could be lurking in the Kiss lexicon of messed up crap. Maybe that 120-page dossier is just an exhaustive account of every outrageous party, every wild groupie encounter, and every out-of-control night that the band has experienced over the years. But then there may have been some little bumps in the road, so to speak. Take, for instance, the band's penchant for singing about underage girls. Imagine if Ace's manuscript is a deep dive into the mind of Gene Simmons, exposing the full extent of this alleged obsession with underage girls, from the writing process to the performance of those songs. It could reveal never-before-seen notes, lyrics, and other musings that bring to light maybe Steven Tyler level shit. But again, this is only speculation. And I'll say, I certainly hope not. Something of that magnitude would have the potential to rock the foundation of the Kiss fan base and really spark a whole new level of controversy around the music. And Lord knows, we could do away with more freaking controversy surrounding our favorite bands of the day. Nevertheless, as many rockers from back then had their blinders on when it came to musing on age barriers. Let's take Christine 16, for example. Ace could potentially have unleashed behind-the-scenes footage or anecdotes from the recording sessions that would show just how far Simmons or Paul were willing to go to find inspiration behind those cringe-inducing lyrics. It could paint an even darker picture of the man behind the demon makeup, exposing him as, heaven forbid, a predator hiding in plain sight. As for Going Blind, what if Ace's manuscript explores the true meaning behind the cryptic lyrics and finally puts to rest the decades-long debate among fans? Might even reveal some disturbing inspiration for the song, further tarnishing the band's legacy. Or we're talking about Domino. Ace could have some exclusive insights into the writing and recording of that song, including any conversations or arguments that took place during the creative process. Maybe there were band members who vehemently disagreed with the song's content, and Ace's manuscript might just blow the lid off those internal conflicts. Now, in light of the recent events with Mick Mars, my guess, though, is that there could be a lot of shady business dealing. After all, Gene is considered the shrewdest musician businessman in the history of classic rock and roll. It would be a raw, unfiltered look at the darker side of Kiss from a financial standpoint, providing fans with a unique perspective that only an insider like Ace Frehley could offer. Think about his time in the band. In the late 70s, Ace was just straight up vibing, cranking out tunes like a madman. In 1979's Dynasty and 80's Unmasked, he contributed 3 songs each, proving that he wasn't just a space dude with a cool guitar that emitted some smoke from the pickups. Now, during this time, Kiss wasn't exactly setting the world on fire in terms of sales. However, even as Frehley's songwriting chops grew, he found himself at odds with the direction Kiss was taking. And after Peter Criss got the boot in 1980, Frehley found himself outvoted in band decisions more often than not. And this would lead to his limited participation in 1981's Music from the Elder, when he didn't exactly see eye to eye with producer Bob Ezrin, who, in a power move, cut many of Ace's solos from the recorded track. Cut out his solos? To a guitarist, that's almost as bad as turning the volume down on them. And folks, one thing you never ever want to do to a guitarist is bury them in the mix, unless you want a serious fight on your hands. In Ace's case, they did the next worst thing and simply cut his solos out. Now, while Frehley's face graced the covers of 82's Killers and Creatures of the Night, his actual involvement was minimal at best. In fact, in the last hurrah with the band was a video for I Love It Loud and some promotional appearances in Europe. It was at this point that Kiss embarked on the Creatures of the Night tour without Frehley, replacing him with Vinnie Vincent. However, Ace still held on to a 1/4 share in Kiss partnership until 1985, raking in profits from both Lick It Up and Animalize, despite having zero involvement with the record. That's a pretty sweet deal, if I must say so myself. Will Paul Stanley cave and offer up that much coveted apology? Or will Ace Frehley drop the manuscript like a hydrogen bomb? Then the question will be, will this 120-page manuscript contain enough damning evidence to actually be able to wreak havoc on the reputations of Simmons and Stanley? The clock is ticking on that one, and we're all just sitting here waiting for the fireworks. So make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. We'll all kick back and watch how this plays out. Thank you for watching. You are now in the family.